Good evening, wrestling fans. We're your hosts, Lewis
and Jaden, and this is
Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Welcome back, fans. We're in for an excellent topic today. We're going to be talking about the superstar shakeup in the WWE. A lot of changes happened on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown that a lot of people did not really think were going to happen and actually happened. And it has surprised a lot of people. And we're actually going to be talking about that today. We're actually also going to be welcoming a guest on the show. He's actually an analyst, a baseball, boxing, and wrestling analyst that's coming into the show. Mr. Rich Mancuso, we're actually going to tune him in with us in just a few minutes. As soon as he comes on, we are excited to have him on the show. He used to have a talk show called Keep It in the Ring, and we're actually looking forward to it. Jose Gonzalez, how you doing, sir? Thank you for the compliment, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And we're gonna see if we can invite Mr. Rich Mancuso onto the show. Gary, you're absolutely right. At this moment, indie wrestling is so much better right now than the WWE. And Billy, for sure, we already got our tickets of VIP. Yeah. We're going to be at the Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling Show, front row.
Wait, will that person be
to tune it.
Will Billy be there?
He sure will be. Okay, we just invited Mr. Mancuso. Hopefully he'll come on. In the meantime, while we plug him in, we're going to talk about the superstar shakeup. Jaden, there was a lot of surprises with this superstar shakeup that not too many people saw coming. You know,
I know which one I didn't. Which one I absolutely did not see coming was AJ Styles going to Raw.
No, absolutely not.
I did not see that coming.
This was the man that built SmackDown to what it is today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you talk about superstars like that, it's kind of hard to wonder, okay, can he cut it in Raw? Excuse me, like he did on SmackDown. You know, it was kind of tough because in SmackDown, excuse me, in SmackDown, he had great competition, but he didn't have the likes of Seth Rollins. He didn't have the likes of Finn Balor, which surprised me because I wanted to see AJ Styles and Finn Balor go at it with each other.
Hey, you never know. That can happen at any time.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Now that Finn Balor is on SmackDown,
yeah,
which is going to be interesting because he's never been on SmackDown like that. So
it's basically like a switch up for both of them because it's like new experiences for both of them. AJ Styles hasn't really been on Raw, and Finn Balor hasn't really been on SmackDown. So they're gonna see some new things, some new wrestlers, and a new
rivalries. They're gonna see new rivalries and everything.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be interesting to see some stuff like that when it comes up to rivalries. When it comes to the superstar shakeup, back then they used to call it the draft because it was a WWE draft. Excuse me. It was interesting to see that when this superstar draft happened, a lot of people started attention with it. You know what I mean? And now, when you have all these different talents going to different shows, it creates new ethics in the sport.
Yeah.
You know, and when it comes to, for example, Ember Moon, the women's division now has actually heated up the women's division. We saw Ember Moon. We saw Liv Morgan coming into SmackDown, which I think WWE has big plans for her in the women's division, which I would like to see some new faces come up and say, okay, let's see what we're going to do here. When you also saw Paige bring in Asuka and Kairi Sane as a new tag team in the women's tag team division. So that's going to be a tag team to watch because those two are very talented from NXT. Now, you also got Aleister Black and Ricochet on Monday Night Raw. Those two are, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most excellent tag teams in this industry. So, it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, where I see Mr. Rich Mancuso is watching. We're trying to plug him into the channel. We actually tried to put him on here, but unfortunately we were unsuccessful due to technical difficulty. Mr. Mancuso, if you're watching, you can tune in. You can request to come on the show, and we'll plug you in, sir. In the meantime, we're going to continue to talk about the Superstar Shakeup.
Yeah, now going back to the Superstar Shakeup, going back to Raw, we can get a mixture between ladies and men in wrestling. Like, one of the tag teams and the ladies that shocked me that went to Raw was the Usos and Naomi.
Oh, absolutely.
I never thought that they would have went to Raw. Like, the Usos are like the SmackDown people. They won a lot of SmackDown titles, and Naomi has been in SmackDown for a long time. So it's basically like a new start for her, some new rivalries, some new faces. Same thing goes for the Usos, but also there is some familiar faces in Raw that the Usos have seen on SmackDown.
Of course, and when it comes to situations like that, you know, the Usos, as you said, they're an excellent tag team, but I think they just spiced up the Raw tag team division.
Absolutely.
Because, quite frankly, when it came to stuff like that, I think the tag team division on Raw was kind of getting a little weak, but they actually brought the Viking Experience, which I'm not too fond of the name, but these two are a force to be reckoned with because they come from NXT and they destroyed all the competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people fail to understand. Many of these guys that come from NXT in general, or many guys that are in this organization, come from the indie promotions. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it even more special that when it comes to Superstar Shakeup, it's they've worked so hard to come to the WWE, and then to get into the industry is what counts even more.
Superstar Shakeup is basically like a whole bunch of surprises. You never know who's going to be on Raw or SmackDown. Like, okay, let's take this guy for example, The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, The Miz knows who you are.
Well,
he can go on SmackDown,
absolutely.
Raw,
and absolutely. And The Miz is very talented.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Hi, Yesenia.
Hi.
Honey, my producer and director. She says hello. Thank you for watching the show. The Miz is very talented. You know, that match that he's had with, you know, Shane McMahon at WrestleMania.
That was a really great match.
It was a really great match. But it wasn't over.
Yeah.
Because The Miz did come on Raw and pretty much said, this is not over. We're going to go at it, and we're going to continue to go at it. And that's pretty much what a lot of people are expecting. They want to see that shakeup. That's what they call a Superstar Shakeup. Andrade, another one. Excellent Latin wrestler.
Isn't that guy a SmackDown?
No, he's officially on Raw now.
Oh, really?
He's officially on Raw. He was just on SmackDown, and he came on Raw.
Wow.
We love you too.
Yeah.
He had an excellent rivalry with Rey Mysterio, and now that Rey Mysterio is on Monday Night Raw, that's going to be interesting because that rivalry can reoccur again on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Which would make it even better, you know, when it comes to a situation like that. And you also got Eric Young from Sanity. Unfortunately, the group disbanded, and everybody went their separate ways. So it was unfortunate in that we were not able to see that faction on Monday Night Raw, you know, because it would have been great.
Yeah. Now, going back to SmackDown,
excuse me,
we have someone that was recently just on Raw that tag teamed with AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns.
But that's a big act.
That's a big turnaround for Roman Reigns, because it's especially now since he has a rivalry with Vince McMahon. since he goes on SmackDown, that spices a lot of things up in
No,
the WWE.
absolutely. And that's the thing that you got Roman Reigns, Elias. You have Lars Sullivan, up and coming star from NXT, who is a monster. I would love to see that battle between him and Roman Reigns. Also, things are kind of getting spiced up. You know, there's a little rumor out there that Kofi Kingston is teasing a feud with Roman Reigns because of what he did to Vince McMahon. When he Superman punched Vince McMahon in the face, and things kind of got chaotic towards the end of SmackDown. Yeah. Excuse me. So, it's kind of hard to say where this superstar shakeup is going to go. Now, when you talk about superstar shakeups, this goes back to when the draft started in brands like Bray Wyatt at a point. He got drafted to Raw. Made an impact there. Sami Zayn, another one that got drafted to one of the brands, which I believe was Raw. Back then, I believe in 2005, 2006, you had drafts that happened with Triple H and Eddie Guerrero that impacted both brands, that made it pretty much, which I think they should come back with, the, inter-promotional battles between Raw and SmackDown.
I mean, they did do that, I think, like a year ago with Raw vs. SmackDown Survivor Series.
Yeah, well, that they did that match, you know, as a Survivor Series match. But what I'm trying to say is, back then, for an example, WrestleMania 20, you had his first inter-promotional match, two of them, Brock Lesnar against Goldberg. Then you had The Undertaker against Kane. From two different views. Then you had WrestleMania 21. Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. One from SmackDown, one from Raw. So, you make those kind of matches inter-promotional, it's going to create a buzz. It's going to create this excitement in the superstar shakeup.
No, I think Raw also got spiced up because of these two wrestlers. Ricochet and Aleister Black. That tag team is phenomenal. Like, I love Aleister Black's entrance. He comes out through the stage. Ricochet is the acrobat. That's what makes them such a great tag team. And I would love to see them and the Usos go at it. Now, they've had a match at WrestleMania 35, but I would just love to see those two by themselves go at it.
Well, absolutely. No, we would definitely like to see that. Well, to be honest with you, I think I would actually like to see a battle between AJ Styles and Ricochet.
Yeah, that's...
Now that they're both on both brands, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. You're going to see new rivalries. You're going to see new alliances formed. People that you think won't be able to make a big splash in the brand. That's what's going to make it even more interesting. And when you talk about Aleister Black, his entrance is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
It's eerie, but it's phenomenal. And the style of wrestling that he has in the ring it's a like I've never seen when it comes to a wrestler coming from the NXT. Now, Selena Vega, we get to the women now. Selena Vega made a splash on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Which I know she's going to try to make a splash in the women's division, as well as you said, Naomi. Lacey Evans also made a splash by taking on Natalya, and won a championship opportunity against Becky Lynch. So that's going to be interesting to see those two go at it. Excuse me. When the time comes. Also, Cedric Alexander.
He's phenomenal.
Excellent cruiserweight.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking forward to seeing what he can do in the main roster on Monday Night Raw. Buddy Murphy. He's on SmackDown. Interesting because he is no longer the Cruiserweight Champion, and that pretty much explains why, he is on the main roster now.
Yeah.
On SmackDown. No longer 205. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to build that character.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him in action.
Unfortunately, Chad Gable and Bobby Roode are no longer a tag team. That their tag team is over. I didn't really care much for that tag team. Chad Gable is an excellent talent. excuse me, which I think he could do more by himself anyway. The one person I think that they're screwing up with is Apollo Crews that they brought to SmackDown. I would like to actually see him in a tag team as a heel with Bobby Lashley.
Well, it's not bad, but I would like to see him go up against Finn Balor.
Well,
I would like to see that because it's an underdog versus like a.
Well, I would say take little steps because Apollo Crews, they come from NXT, okay, but I don't think he can live up to the caliber to take on Finn Balor.
What?
I don't think so.
No,
to me personally, no. I think I would want Lilo Rush and Bobby Lashley to take him under their wing and create this heel, mold him into this person to be better, and then unleash him. Just like the same thing happened with Batista when Batista got drafted to Raw and SmackDown. They pretty much saw this potential in him of evolution. You know, this is the things you look for when it comes to that. Bayley, she was drafted. Well, I wouldn't say drafted her. She was shaken up to SmackDown.
Yeah.
She wasn't too happy though. Unfortunately, the Montreal crowd didn't greet her too well, which I would love to see a heel turn from that woman. It would be awesome.
I mean, but Bayley's all about hugging and stuff.
She needs to forget the hugging. The hugging gotta go. You know what I mean? I understand you trying to please the fans, but when it's coming down to it, you gotta give them what they want.
I mean, I agree with that.
And that's what they're looking for. The same thing they're looking for, and I've been saying it over and over and over. Put Roman Reigns as a heel. You will make so much money with a rivalry between him and Kofi Kingston when it comes to a battle like that, especially for the WWE Championship. Put Vince McMahon or Paul Heyman in that mix, you will have so much money coming in, it's not even fun.
Especially since Roman Reigns is the big dog. Roman Reigns is the strong guy, so imagine him as a heel. Roman Reigns would most likely be unstoppable, almost unstoppable to the SmackDown roster because he's one of the biggest guys in that SmackDown roster.
No, absolutely, and he made it clear this past Tuesday. SmackDown is now his yard.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how that's gonna go, you know, and a lot of people are gonna be gunning for him. You got Elias. You see Elias. Superman punched him. Baron Corbin also took notice in that he said, okay, this guy's already coming in to try to make an impact on my show. So it's gonna be crazy to witness that. And again, WWE, if you're listening, put back inter-promotional battles, have invasions, let the crowd get into this.
Yes.
Excuse me, I apologize. Let the crowd get into it. You know what I mean? And
you know, speaking of that, I actually want to see those two go at it. Roman Reigns and AJ Styles.
Of course.
I want to see those two go at it.
That would be a perfect inter-promotional battle.
I want to see those two go at it.
Of course. And they went at it before. But it will be even more exciting with two brands going against each other.
Yeah, that's what makes it more exciting.
Exactly. And that's what used to happen on SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Do it again. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? And to me personally, I like Roman. I like what he's about. I like I'm the yard. I'm the big dog. But I guarantee you give that man a mic. You give him Paul Heyman. Excuse me. The man can work wonders. And just with Paul Heyman alone by his side, the man will gain so much publicity in the wrestling industry. I'm telling you.
I don't think Roman Reigns should do the talking, but I absolutely
agree
point. That he should be a Paul Heyman guy. He would make a really Paul Heyman guy.
That's my point.
Especially since he was a heel before. I think him as a Paul Heyman guy, he would be the quiet person and the person to attack. So
just like Brock Lesnar.
Yep, so I absolutely agree.
The only difference is Brock Lesnar, unfortunately, not to sound rude, the man has no talent. He has no wrestling ability anymore.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's gone. Roman Reigns came back to WrestleMania 35. He made a splash. He had a hell of a match with Drew McIntyre.
Oh, yeah.
And he came back stronger than before. That's a sign. Give the fans what they want. You know, and we also got Mickey James. I'm sorry. Back to the women. I know we left this topic with Roman, but Mickey James has been a veteran in this sport for a long time. She's officially on SmackDown. I won't sleep on her because she's such a veteran and is looking to make a name for herself. Now, we just had a person comment that says Paul sucks. I don't think so, sir, because Paul Heyman has a tendency to bring that greatness out of you. You know, he's managed guys in the draft such as CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Curtis Axel, who also got drafted. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to say something like that when in reality he's a hell of a manager, which that's not this topic, but we just want to throw that out there.
I mean, he's probably thinking that just because Brock Lesnar was his client, and not to knock Brock off, but Brock, all he's about now is Suplex City. That's all he does.
Well, let's change that topic because we're not here to talk about Brock Lesnar. We're here to talk about the Superstar Shakeup. You know, another person that was into the Superstar Shakeup was EZ3, who came from NXT, got put into the Raw brand. But I think if you're trying to mold a character, you know, that's not the way to do it. They let Braun Strowman beat the hell out of him. The man has talent. The man comes from TNA. He's an excellent wrestler. Wrestled great in NXT. Bring him up there with some class. Bring him up there like, okay, I'm coming with fire. I'm going to take on the talent, do what I got to do what I do best. And that's it. You know what I mean? And as I mentioned before from Eric Young from the group Sanity, the man is very talented. It's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do when he comes on and fight as a singles man on how that's going to go. You know, one key thing now that, as we mentioned earlier, excuse me, I'm sorry guys, I got a really bad cold. The Viking Experience and the Usos coming to the Raw brand. It's going to be interesting to see those two tag teams because they would be. I would love to see those two do battle.
Yeah.
You know, especially with Aleister Black and Ricochet in the mix too in that tag team division.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. The NXT people that's coming into WWE is what's making the WWE universe so happy and so crazy because these new NXT stars are spicing it up.
They're making a splash.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
like
making a splash.
These guys make you want to jump out of your seats. Like that's how amazing they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely think they're making a big splash for the WWE universe.
Of course, and I would love to see where this is going to take them.
Yeah.
Coming into the Raw brand because Raw supposedly is the flagship brand, but I don't sleep on SmackDown. SmackDown has
some good.
They got some great talent. They got some great wrestlers, and they've actually taken the ball and ran with it pretty fast ahead of Raw.
Yeah.
So I want to see where this is going to take us.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm looking forward to these new changes. I'm looking forward to seeing Kofi Kingston and Kofi Kingston, maybe Roman Reigns, maybe Finn Balor. I would love to see Finn Balor and Kofi Kingston go.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Especially now that Kofi Kingston is the WWE champion. It's going to be interesting to see how people are going to be approaching him about this, how they're going to come up with this storyline, how their characters are going to come out. And
okay, but if I'm not mistaken, isn't Finn Balor the Intercontinental champ?
He absolutely is.
So yeah,
that's what's going to be even more interesting about it. Champion versus champion.
We haven't seen one of those matches in a while, so
exactly.
I would love to see that.
Exactly. And that's what's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to add to this Superstar Shakeup, Jaden, that we did see?
Well, I did see a lot of crazy things, but I don't really think any more superstars switched. So, but like I said, going back to these NXT guys, they're coming from NXT, and now they're fighting with the big guys. They're fighting with people like Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, people who've had experience inside of the ring. So, I can honestly say, like I said earlier, these NXT stars are gonna make a super big bang for the WWE universe.
Well, look, we had another comment. Roman and Kofi. Excuse me. They want to see that match. Many people want to see that match.
Which should be the heel turn of Roman Reigns.
Yep. And if not, and if not Roman, maybe Kofi.
Yeah.
I could see Kofi being a heel with Vince McMahon, joining Vince McMahon and becoming a heel.
But do you think he should go back to like the old Kofi, the boom boom?
No. Forget the boom.
Yeah.
You can be Kofi the heel, join Vince McMahon, make some money, get a rivalry between Roman Reigns and Kofi Kingston. It will be a hell of a match between those two.
Oh yeah.
The match alone for Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania was something.
Great match.
Imagine Roman Reigns and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
Fans want to see it. We want to see it.
The universe wants to see it.
Exactly. WWE, make it happen.
Yes.
See, no, not Roman Reigns. He doesn't want Roman to be a heel.
He wants Kofi.
Exactly. Which would sound like a better deal.
A lot of people want Kofi to be a heel, especially since he's the champion now. That's what's gonna make it super, super crazy.
No, it will be more interesting. It would be more interesting. It would have more fans tuning into the product. You know what I mean? And that's what we are waiting for.
I mean, but it would also be crazy because a lot of people hasn't seen Kofi as a heel in a long time.
Well, besides before when he was a heel with the New Day, before they became a face.
Before they became a face, but that wasn't like a long time ago, but that was a little long time ago. A few years back.
So, but there's only one way to find out. We just got to keep tuning in.
Only time will tell.
And watching. So, we're wrestling fans. Our time is up. We thank you for watching about this episode of the Superstar Shakeup. Next week's show, we're going to be talking about the best and worst gimmicks of all time. And we're talking about every single wrestling promotion there is, including the indies out there. Tune in next week, Friday, 8 p.m. Also, do not forget, tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we're going to be having an exclusive interview with the Apocalypse. And come that interview, it's going to be one you are not going to want to forget. Thank you, fans, for tuning in. For myself and my co-host, Jaden, have a good night.